You will hate Simon Cowell after watching this video. Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Screeny. Simon Cowell is one of those people everyone loves to hate, and he definitely deserved his bad boy reputation. Mr. Nasty probably wouldn't be where he is today if he failed to catch our attention with his crude insults and sarcastic jabs. His remarks are usually hilarious, but he often steps out of line and stirs controversy with his brutal put-downs. Let's take a look at 8 reasons why everyone hates Simon Cowell. Before we reveal some of Mr. Nasty's most controversial moments, make sure to press the subscribe button. Number 8. Cheating scandal. If there's anything messier than Cowell's road to stardom, it's definitely his love life. His relationship with Lauren Silverman started as a heated affair, but that's not even the worst part. Her husband at the time just happened to be Cowell's good friend Andrew Silverman, who was furious after learning about their dirty fling. All hell broke loose once it turned out Lauren was pregnant with Cowell's child, despite still being married to another man. Needless to say, her ex immediately filed for divorce, citing adultery as the main cause of their split, and naming Cowell as a co-respondent. The real estate mogul and his cheating wife eventually settled their divorce out of court to avoid Cowell being called as a witness in the divorce proceedings. Even after the messy separation was over, Lauren and Simon were still suffering consequences. Cowell even went on the record saying he regrets the way their relationship started, but claimed it was never his intention to hurt anyone. One thing led to another, and the best thing he could do was deal with it. Man up and accept the responsibility and the criticism. Despite not being proud of the affair, Cowell was happy with what came out of it, because he's gotten a chance to start a family with the woman he loved. Number 7. Ruining music industry. Several high-profile celebrities slammed Cowell's shows and accused him of destroying the music industry. He was often criticized for impacting the modern pop scene in a negative way because his shows are soap operas disguised as a search for talent. Legendary artists such as Sting, Elton John, and Noel Gallagher took aim at the X Factor, describing it as a televised karaoke that had absolutely nothing to do with music and everything to do with television. They expressed their belief that real musical talent is more likely to be found in pubs and clubs, where artists actually have to pay their due. Cowell's shows offered aspiring musicians a shortcut and helped create a mindset that you can become successful overnight without working hard to achieve status and fame. Another major problem people had with these types of shows, especially the X Factor, was the fact that judges often focused on the physical appearance of the contestants, not their craftsmanship or skill. Some of the critics also felt televised talent programs are preventing people with real talent from rising through the ranks, but Cowell dismissed these claims by saying some of the money they make is invested into new artists. Number 6. Ruthless put-downs. Simon Cowell is known for his talents to always find a way to mock contestants in the most ruthless way possible. But not everyone is impressed by this character trait. While some people consider his put-downs hilarious, others wouldn't wish them upon their worst enemy because they're often downright cruel. Telling little girls they sound like cats being dragged up the motorway after watching their disastrous performance may sound funny, but it serves no purpose in the long run. Cowell's criticism is rarely constructive, and it's mostly there to provoke and get a reaction. The notorious judge isn't harsh because he thinks it will help these contestants thrive, he's harsh because he knows what makes for good television. Even talent shows need a villain, and Cowell's been playing this role for such a long time, he knows of nothing else. It took him years to admit he hated his guts for the way he treated some of the contestants, including the worldwide sensation Susan Boyle. But it doesn't seem he's changed his ways after she proved to him there's more to people than meets the eye. Number 5. Manipulating young artists. If you take a look at the list of artists who have signed with Cowell's record label Psycho Music, you'll come across a bunch of young performers who were complete unknowns before Mr. Nasty came along. Little Mix, Camila Cabello, Ollie Murs, and Louis Tomlinson are some of the names currently working with Psycho Music. Another thing they have in common? They were all in their early 20s or even younger when they met Simon Cowell on the set of The X Factor. Despite the fact they managed to forge their own way in the years to come, Cowell is still the person credited for their success because he gave them that initial push in the right direction. It's safe to say they would have been able to find fame without him, but but we'll never know for sure. They were pretty much forced to sign a deal with his record label after the X Factor was over. That's why some of Cowell's harshest critics claim he's guilty of manipulating naive young minds who don't know any better. Restrictive contracts with Psycho Music is one of the reasons why winning the X Factor doesn't always feel like a dream come true. Diana Vickers, who was a contestant on season 5, went on record saying she's happy she didn't win the competition because it gave her the freedom to become an independent artist and write her own music. She advised young singers to use this platform only if they've exhausted every other opportunity. Number 4. Sexist remarks. Making crude remarks about the singing abilities of contestants on his show is one thing, but Cowell often crossed the line by mocking their personality and their physical appearance. The audience of his shows were usually not sensitive enough to call him out on it because they just enjoyed laughing along. The tide turned in 2017 after magician Josephine Lee wowed everyone watching Britain's Got Talent apart from Cowell. He described her narration as irritating and annoying because she spent too much time talking about how hard it is for women to make it in this industry. He ended his comments by saying, "I like the legs," in reference to the fake set featured in her act. Cowell's sexist tactics also fueled some behind-the-scene drama. He used this to his advantage because tension between the judges turned out to be great for the ratings. His fellow Britain's Got Talent judge Amanda Holden, who actually has a good working relationship with Cowell, called him out for trying to initiate petty catfights between female judges. Simon was also branded as sexist after making a raunchy joke about Mel B's divorce and telling Nicole Scherzinger to shut up while giving feedback to one of the artists he was coaching on the X Factor. Number 3. Copying Pop Idol. A few years before he reinvented himself as the most notorious judge in talent show history, Simon Cowell was just a guy who was forced to move back in with his parents after going broke because his record label fell apart. He somehow managed to get back on his feet after signing deals with several popular acts, including Westlife. The success of these performers made it seem like Cowell had a good eye for talent. He accepted the role on the judging panel of the new talent show Pop Idol that completely redefined his career. Simon became known for his harsh put-downs and earned his notoriously critical reputation that follows him to this day. After 2 seasons on Pop Idol, Cowell felt he learned enough to launch a talent show on his own and started working on the X Factor. Pop Idol was put on an indefinite hiatus, but its creator Simon Fuller wasn't crazy about this news. He decided to fire back and took legal action against his former collaborator for ripping off the earlier smash hit reality talent show format. Cowell describes the lawsuit as totally and utterly ridiculous, and added he can't remember any case when these kinds of allegations have been successful. The case was eventually settled out of court, and Cowell said both sides were delighted with the outcome. Number 2. Mistreating other judges. The judging panel on Got Talent and the X Factor featured several judges who were arguably more famous than Simon Cowell, but it was always obvious he was the one calling the shots. He decided who's getting hired or fired, used animosity between the other judges when it suited him, and tried to calm the waters once things got out of hand. Louis Walsh was the first judge who felt completely humiliated after dealing with Cowell and even wanted to leave the X Factor after 2 seasons because he had enough. The infamous judge managed to convince him to stay on the show, but not everyone else was that lucky. Kelly Brook didn't have a great experience judging alongside Cowell, since he fired her after only a week on Britain's Got Talent. He also had several heated arguments with Sharon Osbourne, David Williams, and Mel B, who even threw water in his face and stormed off the stage after dealing with his nasty comments. Number 1. Money Monster. Talent shows that put Simon Cowell on the map all have one thing in common. They're promising international fame and enormous fortune to the performers talented enough to come out victorious at the end of the season. No matter how successful contestants on the show end up becoming, most of them never manage to earn more cash than the judges deciding their fate. Simon Cowell is the biggest money grabber of the bunch, since it's essentially impossible to think of talent shows that doesn't have him on the panel. Pop Idol, The X Factor, Britain's Got Talent, American Idol, America's Got Talent, you name it, he's done it, and the list will probably keep on growing. Cowell isn't one of the most influential people in the music industry because he shows up to make mean comments on silly shows every once in a while. He's also a successful producer who's found a convenient way to profit from contestants on these shows long after filming is over. A majority of the winners on The X Factor or Got Talent ended up signing deals with Cowell's company Psycho Entertainment, helping him earn millions in the process. Turning these shows into a money-spinning phenomenon is the reason why he's one of the richest TV personalities in the world, with $550 million in his bank account. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content, and don't forget to check out one of the other 2 videos on your screen.